This is Stolen TV, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, evening, wherever you're tuning in from. Welcome back to another edition of Edmonton Oilers discussion here on the channel. And well, you know what? We've already got the lines out for training camp, and there's a couple of big notes to make for the Edmonton Oilers when it comes to this training camp. As number one, we'll talk about it right off the hop because we just need to get that dealt with, and then we'll get secondarily stuff, yes, Puljujarvi dealt with because that's the more interesting topic. So, number one, ladies and gentlemen, James Neal unfit to play here at training camp to begin, and he may very well miss all of training camp. Now, if you want to stay tuned and get all your Edmonton Oilers training camp news, I would be very grateful to bring it along for you, pass it along, whatever you want to say. And the best way to do that is potentially hitting that subscribe button. Secondarily to that, if you're returning to the channel, well, you've already hit that subscribe button. Why not hit the like button on today's video? Because you know what? This is positive news when we get to the back half. Sorry, I just had the cat up and I'm all itchy. But this is positive news when we get to the back half of this video, and you're going to like it. I promise you that. So, ladies and gentlemen, number one, right off the top, like I said, James Neal, unfit to play, may miss all of training camp, and that doesn't even mean he may be ready for opening night against Vancouver. There is some rumblings. James Neal may be unable to go to open up the season on opening night. That, for us Oilers fans that are hoping to see James Neal continue that strong play he had to start the season last year, for us, we may not get to see that. And that is going to be very, very unfortunate. That is for sure, because we would have liked to see James Neal come out of the Oilers situation, right? Training camp, his spot, where is it on the team, and come up and clutch up for sure. So let's see if we can figure out where that was. Listed as unfit to play. We're forward stomachs. Why is there nothing? I know I saw it. There was something here on James Neal who was unfit to play. I'll see if I can scroll through. But I guess realistically the point being is it adds to the fun of training camp. Right now, temporarily, there is potentially an extra roster spot available for a young Oilers player, a veteran player that's coming into this team for the first couple of seasons. Yes, so this coming from Jason Gregor about 2 hours ago as of recording. Hearing Shore and Cahoon will be on the ice in coming days, maybe as early as tomorrow. Neal, questionable for the season opener, but doesn't sound like it is long-term for those wondering. With such a short camp, getting a few skates in before season begins would be huge for James Neal. But if he's questionable to open up the season, that may mean he may miss a game or two this year. And that, for us, like I said, is kind of interesting for the front that we wanted to see James Neal succeed this year. But secondarily to that, the opening of the roster spot, well, you know what? If James Neal might have risen to the top during training camp to take that top line spot from Zach Kassian alongside Nugent Hopkins and Connor McDavid, guess who that leaves things wide open for? Well, my friends, those things wide open for Jesse Puljujarvi. And yes, that is the second half of this video. As I promised you, the second half in this one, well, guess what? Is all about Jesse Puljujarvi and how impressed head coach Dave Tippett is with still the young kid coming into the Edmonton Oilers, practicing with them for the first time since February of 2018. No, this isn't right. He was with us in February 2019, I believe. I think he was still here in 2019, had a couple games. Let me just quickly go to hockey-reference.com here and check his game logs, because I'm sure Puljujarvi played with the Oilers at least a couple more games in 2019 before he was sent to the minors, where then he went down with the hip injury, and that was it. That was all she wrote for Puljujarvi with the Oilers temporarily, time being till now, when he's back with us now. So yes, so the things lie. I think I saw March 20 or February 2018. That's a typo. He played 9/31, February 15th for the Edmonton Oilers on 2019. So it's been, well, over a year, almost 2 years since Jesse Puljujarvi. It'll be a year and 11 months since Yes Puljujarvi last suited up for the Edmonton Oilers when he suits up for the Oilers January 13th against the Vancouver Canucks. So it looks like, well, he's motivated with some jump in his step, is how the Edmonton Oilers, who's writing this article, Paul Gazzola, says in his article. He's a monster of a man, quote from Dave Tippett. I love that he's smiling. He looks like he loves to play and has high skill for a big man. And, well, you know what? Apparently, according to all the players telling Dave Tippett things, Puljujarvi's rejuvenated demeanor, this read off of the EdmontonOilers.com article, was apparent as soon as players began skating informally a few days prior. Word of that swiftly made its way to Coach Tippett, is how it's written in the article. There was a lot of comments about how good Jesse looks on the ice and how happy he is. He's engaging with his teammates, so it's a good first step. And here's another quote from Dave Tippett on Jesse Puljujarvi. A player like Jesse is, well, I've talked to him on the phone a few times, but it's good to get that in-person communication and get a feel for each other. Then you get them on the ice and get a feel for what they can do on the ice and where the chemistry is going to fit. Hopefully I can continue to get to know him, and we'll see how he does in some situations. But he looked pretty good for his first day, and that, my friends, is that positive news I was telling you to hit the like button for. And now you put 1 and 2 together, and my goodness, guess what? Yes, Puljujarvi very well could find himself on that top line with Connor McDavid and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins by the time opening night comes this season. And I mean, maybe a mistake for the Oilers not to put him there back in 18-19 when they had Ty Rattie up there in his place, potentially his place this season. So, I mean, now James Neal out of the lineup. What do you make of that? Well, opening spot in the roster, whether it be for a guy to enter the lineup or for a guy to move up potentially in the lineup in terms of competition along the depth chart on the right side. And secondarily to that, it's nice to see Yes Puljujarvi was playing alongside Josh Archibald and Kyle Turris. That's an all right-hand shot line. And may I remind you, the Edmonton Oilers may very well be suited with right-hand shots on the power play this year, i.e. Alex Chiasson may very well be losing his spot in the lineup here sometime soon. And may I flash a lineup card that I had just mere moments ago. That's the browser for the scoreboard on the live streams. We don't need that. We need the camp lines here, day 2 lines. And just to get that up for you one more time, as you see, right, Chiasson, Nygaard, Kara, your quote-unquote 4th line. Well, you've also got Puljujarvi, Archibald, Turris, your quote-unquote 3rd line, definitely entering the NHL season. So, on all fronts, positive news, I guess you could say, for us on James Neal, because it opens up a spot in camp to compete for, at least temporarily. And secondarily, with the Yes Puljujarvi news, good first impressions means hopefully a better second stint here with the Edmonton Oilers. I mean, I was negative about the whole situation. Trade him. If he wants to complain, get him out of here. But guess what? Now he's back in the fold, and end of the day, I'd look like a clown if I kept saying trade him, because you know what? We don't know what Yes Puljujarvi is to the Edmonton Oilers at current. So to yell trade him now, that's absolutely foolish. Let's see, let's prove, and let's have a lot of fun as training camp continues. That concludes hopefully day 2 coverage here of Edmonton Oilers training camp on Dolany TV. Ladies and gentlemen, have yourself a great evening. I'm going for some pizza. I will catch you in the next one tomorrow.